know your prediction. It's not going to be fair again.
Right, okay. Yeah. Books are over there. And
I'm so glad you could all make it. You all found it here. Intrepid navigators all. The skill the single-hander needs. Seasick, lonely, and try to stay awake. Stay awake.
For a normal night, you're awake very quickly, go into light sleep, full stage 2, down to deep sleep, stages 3 and 4. Then you go back up again, through to a little bit of rapid eye movement sleep, back down again into deep sleep, more rapid eye movement sleep, down again. All the time are the averages. So some people are going to be a bit faster, some slower. And that's also one of the tips. You should really sort of keep sleep logs on yourself before races so that you actually understand yourselves, roughly what your natural awakening pattern is. But yes, if you move into this sort of second cycle and the alarm does manage to waken you up, you're then going to be performing extremely badly. And one of the bits of advice I give is that if an emergency situation arises where you're awoken, like you've fallen asleep and you're awoken, delay your reaction to it as long as you can. One day, a night, next day, several days. It's called actigraphy. Don't think in terms of I'll work through and overcome it. Sleep will catch you out eventually, hence those accidents. So what you have to do is start planning strategies when you can get your sleep and what you can do to minimize the impact of sleep deprivation. With some of the experimental work, people become paranoid, and I think that's why I'm flagging the REM bit. It's not real paranoia, it's just the rapid eye movement dreaming side of the brain is sort of really beginning to kick in. Observe the single-handed transatlantic races, round Britain races, and the mini transat. I don't know, the shorter you can manage your sleep, the more likely you are to win the race. I recommend anything as short as 10 minutes. I'd rather that you went for half an hour, something that actually clocks up a lot more. Hour and a half's great. I gather from the way you race, you can't do that, or it's going to be difficult to do. Or you've got to find times later on in the race to do that.
But you tend to adopt a pattern where I would set an alarm for 10 or 15 minutes, and then you then come up, you stick your head out the hatch, have a quick look around, and go back down again.
When I started this game, I had great trouble controlling my sleep. But now I can sleep for England. I can sleep anywhere, anytime, no problem.
Some you may experience.
Am I doing damage by sitting there for hours and then not moving away from the breeze? When actually I should try and do something else?
What else are you going to do?
The fact was, it was on the first BOC, and you're sailing across the ocean. I was on a 1-hour sleep pattern. I went down, and so while I was down, the wind changed, direction of the boat changed towards the shore. Instead of sleeping for 1 hour, I slept for 1 hour, 40 minutes. And then it was a rather rude awakening.
Thank you, Christopher.
Something really adapted to short-handed racing, sailing, built to be fast and to last, obviously.
This is a quick burst from 3 travelling salesmen from the Royal Western.
We wanted to keep O-Star, so we called it the original. It's January next year. You've got to have done your 500 miles by the 1st of April. Yacht's in Plymouth by the 20th of May, and the start is on a bank holiday Monday, the Solo 1000, and you get from Kinsale to Santander, which Mervyn didn't do, apparently, when he tried it, because he ran out of wind somewhere in the western approaches and put his engine on and came back. But if you do that leg, that would qualify you for the O-Star.
Monohulls, multi-hulls, between 30 and 50 feet, clockwise around Great Britain and Ireland, including St Kilda.
A little bit about the Express 40, obviously, because that's what boat that we build. I'm coming at this very much from a sailor's point of view, but there is also a big distinction between solo and double-handed. You have to sort of fix things, get on, and keep racing. If you're solo, or even if you're double, you're going to be tired, you're going to be wet, you're going to be cold, and you're going to want a nice, simple boat. You're going to which routes to pull. You've got to make the thing go fast. It can't be super twitchy, but it demands your attention every second of the day.
It's just a question of weight distribution that is different. We test the keel because the boat is called Group Safran. Safran is a joint mixture of Snake Bar and Sagem. They are very high technological sponsors. They build basically the engines for Airbus, all the engines for Airbus, and also fight planes. And also it's very good for the sailor because he knows that he can really rely on it afterwards.
My name is James Hall from Spindler. In the next 90 minutes, you'll be hearing from 3 speakers who've all had first-hand experience or knowledge of being immersed in cold water in an emergency situation.
Bit of a lull, and then this one, and it's very windy.
Nothing untoward occurred, although we reached the main twice as the wind increased to 25 knots from the east. The waves slowly increased in size as we left the lee of the land point. We were close hauled and on port tack, heading southeast at 7 knots in a choppy sea. 70, 80, then 90 degrees afield. Jamie fell from the high side across the cockpit, and John shouted, "She'll come back." I too expected the mast to rise again, but the roll continued, and after a momentary pause, the sails disappeared below the waves. I remember thinking that I ought to move to the mast and maybe stand on the side of the hull, but I had no time to move.
56% of those who die within about the first 20 minutes of immersion. Okay, you can relax, we've got you. And at that point, their condition deteriorates.
Stephen Carr.
And in the case of Petit, Bateau in particular, they've been broken up to run single-handed offshore races, which a lot of yacht clubs are very reticent to do at the moment.
In Rio 7 on the 26th of April. And this year we've decided to run a solo series in the Solent. We're slightly different course this year. We're going to visit 3 Channel Islands, and also we're going to have a stopover at Dinard. This year we're really pleased that we've got a sponsor for our race for the first time, and our sponsor is Blue Cube, and probably know Blue Cube as the sponsor also for Steve White's Open 60, but they've agreed to come and give us some help to run the race. And because of that, we're going to be the first time we're going to be able to fully track the race.
The professional scene as well, and things like that, it's not quite the same as the solo scene. People aren't as helpful. It's kind of not more aggressive, but it's just less conducive to passing of information. You're in your team, it's very insular. Whereas the minute I walked into the Figaro World in France, I was kind of like, wow, this is amazing. These people actually want to help you get involved.
What do you think about the mini transat race that I did last year? Unfortunately, I didn't manage to get that right, and somewhere through the first night, I guess most of the fleet was going pretty slowly, and I guess I was somewhere sort of in the middle, north and south.
I think I'm the last person, so after me, then you can go and eat and drink. But if you're bored, then you're quite welcome to go and eat and drink anyway. And I've followed, I guess, the French Ision career or footpath up to an Open 60.
And what else can I say? Jerry Freeman. If it wasn't for you, this day couldn't happen. These sort of events take much more organising than any of us know. So the biggest round of applause for Jerry Freeman.
Yeah.
And have you figured out how to put it on YouTube? That's what we need to know.